بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا وأنت تجعل الحزن إذا شئت سهلا سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم أسأل الله تبارك وتعالى أن يجعل نياتنا خالصة لوجهه الكريم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. I pray that all of you are in a good state tonight. I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is constantly bestowing upon you His endowments and His favors. And I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continues to grant you at-tawfiq, success in worshiping Him and becoming a better human being, a better Muslim, and an excellent worshipper of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Ameen. So tonight, I wanted to have a discussion about the proper methodology of learning Islam and seeking the knowledge of Islam. And my discussion tonight is a continuation of some of the discussions that I've been having in the post-Fajr reflections related to this issue. Because in the post-Fajr reflection, it takes, a lot of time to talk about the subject matters that we're talking about, and then try to squeeze in other issues. But these issues are important, especially to us as Muslims who are trying to learn our deen. So this talk is going to be addressed particularly to new Muslims. And when I say new Muslims, what I intend by that is everyone who has not learned the deen in a trustworthy, proper manner. So in terms of knowledge, whoever has not learned the deen in a trustworthy, authentic manner, then in relation to this subject, that person's a new Muslim and that person needs to listen. If one is not a new Muslim and one learned properly, then you need to be teaching instead of listening. And if you're not teaching, then you need to listen to realize how important it is to go teach. So there is a benefit for everyone. So oftentimes we talk about the problem of knowledge and the problem of people not learning and discovering all these new things about Islam, being confused about methodologies, which is the right way to go, which is the wrong way to go, who is on al-haq, who is not, who's on the truth, who is not, who's on it, who's off it, the stuff we go through. So I wanted to have a real talk and about this subject and to hear your comments and your feedback. I had a talk today with one of my teachers after the post-Fajr reflections, because I always consult my teachers and run my ideas by them. And, I teach, but I need to be taught as well. So, never get to the point where you don't need a teacher. You need a teacher. It's important. You need advisors. You need elders. You need people to, prick your brain, straighten you out sometimes, or even affirm that which you think. So I always refer to my teachers all the time. It's a habit of mine, right? And that's something we need to establish in our communities, like a constant return to our teachers, to our elders, to our mentors, to keep us on the straight path and make sure we're on the right course where we're going. This is an important aspect of growth and development in the community, having recourse to your elders and your teachers and your mentors and seeking their advice and getting their input. So in that, we were talking about why I talk about the things I talk about. And this particular teacher is not African American. It's not black, right? So he is aware of our situation, but he's not affected by our situation. So there's a difference. And I'm not shy to have that kind of conversation. Alhamdulillah, my teachers, they are my teachers, but we are brothers. So we have straight up talks. I don't have to talk in an elusive way. I could talk direct, straight, right? And I was explaining to him the plight of African American Muslims, which he's familiar with it in a sense, right? But as I said, he's not affected. He doesn't live it. So I was telling him, we got to develop a system where we're in Islam treated fairly like everyone else in the world is treated. There shouldn't be an Islam for the world in every other race, in every other country, and then an Islam for black folk. That's not our deen. Islam is one Islam, and it is for everybody. From the time of Sayyidina Muhammad under his sacred law to Yawm al-Qiyamah, there's one Islam, right? So whatever is good for you is good for us, right? So he knows, so we're talking about the subject. And I says, listen, let's go around the world. And let's just take a mental journey around the world. We could go to different countries. We could go to Saudi Arabia. We could go to Yemen. We could go to Egypt. We could go to Pakistan. We could go to India. We can go to Bangladesh. We could go to Africa. We could go to Egypt, Senegal, Mali, Nigeria, right? We can go even further south, South Africa, Somalia, Ethiopia, go to China, go to Russia. Just take a trip around the world and look at the Muslims all around the world. No matter where you go, you're going to notice certain trends. You're going to see systems in place. In Islam, you're going to see community. You're going to see leadership. And usually when you see community, you're going to see leadership that looks like the community. So if you go to Russia, the imams, the sheikhs, the elders, they're Russians. If you go to Saudi Arabia, they're Saudis. You go to Syria, they're Syrians. Go to Lebanon, they're Lebanese. Go to Egypt, they're Egyptians. Go to China, they're Chinese. So this is what goes on. Go to Pakistan, they're Pakistani. Go to India, they're Indian. Bangladesh, they're Bangladeshi. All around the world. But in our communities, we have made it others, and we have allowed it, as if it's a crime for a black man to lead, for a black man to have the same status as everyone else has all around the world. This is a problem. This is a problem. So instead of complaining about it, what should we do about it? We should rectify it. And it's not sufficient just to say this is wrong and do nothing about it. It's wrong. It's sad. We shouldn't treat people like that. That's not Islam. But we do nothing about it. So this is a problem. And as the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, whoever sees a munkar, a wrongdoing, let him change it with his hand. And if he cannot, let him change it with his tongue. And if he cannot, let him change it with his tongue. And this is the weakest degree of faith. If you look at that hadith, the Prophet said, let him change it, not let him establish it and continue it. But we find that this is something that continues to go on and no one changes it. So I want to read something to you that Imam Naim, my fellow companion on the Black Imams Roundtable, he wrote on his Facebook page the other day. I think it was yesterday. I want to share this thought with you before I go on. It was very profound. I want you to listen to this. Imam Naim, he put it yesterday at 12:35. He said, they only care about themselves and don't care about you. You only care that they don't care about you while you don't even care about you. Nobody cares about you, not even you. This is so profound to me. He hit the nail right on the head. I'm going to repeat it 3 times, because that's one, I'll do it 3 times. The second time, they only care about themselves and don't care about you. You only care that they don't care about you while you don't even care about you. Nobody cares about you, not even you. And my last time, they only care about themselves and don't care about you. You only care that they don't care about you while you don't even care about you. Nobody cares about you, not even you. And I agree with that with 1,000 likes and hearts. And I say to us, people have shown us that they don't care about us. And we've got to the point we've reached the point that we'll just complain about what others are not doing for us, but we refuse to do for ourselves. This is deep. And I'm going to be very explicit in a lot of things I'm going to say, and some people going to be hurt because it applies to them. But our deen is sincere advice. So I sincerely advise you, if it is applying to you, then you should fix it and not feel hurt. If you feel hurt, you should feel hurt that I'm able to say what I'm saying and you're guilty of it. And we're in the month of the death of Malcolm X, Alhaj Malik Shabazz. And I want to ask you, when we all see this condition, And we say we love Malcolm X, we love Al-Hajj Malik Shabazz, so the blacks are celebrating, the foreigners, the immigrants, white folk, everybody's celebrating Malcolm X. If Malcolm X, Al-Hajj Malik Shabazz, saw the conditions we were in right now, and he saw the state of the Muslims in our communities and the way they treat each other and the way they behave, do you think he would remain silent? I want to ask a question. Or do you think he would raise a lot of issues and speak directly to them no matter who they apply to? I want to ask you that question. That's a question I would like an answer. Because we all talk about him all month. People have been talking about Malcolm X and Al-Hajj Malik Shabazz and how much a soldier he was. If he saw the conditions in our communities the way we did, would he remain silent or would he raise a fuss? With that being the case, which we all agree, so I want to give us the tools so that we can change our condition. One of the ways to control you, to subjugate you, is to keep you ignorant. Our biggest problem is our ignorance. Our ignorance. Even if it's innocent that we don't know, it's still a problem. We must learn. There was, back in the 80s, there was a rap song, a rap artist. Is, Blast Master KRS-One for the Imam of the Boom Bap. Blast Master KRS-One, right? He had a song he wrote called You Must Learn. You must learn. And we was a kid, we would rap that. You must learn. Right? And that was conscious rap. I grew up in the conscious rap era. Right? And that song for young youth in the inner city was a push to learn about themselves and to build and to develop. Unfortunately, rap music or hip hop don't have nothing to do with that anymore. But in those days, we had those type of songs. Public Enemy, fight the power, fight the power, right? Fear of a Black Planet, that type of stuff. What were those songs designed to do? To motivate us to uplift and empower ourselves as a people. Right? That was what it was designed to do. And as Muslims, Islam is supposed to do that for every nation it reaches. But it has reached us in a form that, sad to say, it hasn't empowered us. In fact, the way it was given to us has further subjugated us and further sent us backwards with all the steps we made as a people. Inwardly, we are people of faith, so alhamdulillah, we're Muslim. But as an outward expression, we haven't reaped the benefits of faith that leads to action, that leads to development and the betterment of the human being. We haven't really experienced that as a whole. I'm not saying everyone. Because I say to myself, listen, we got work to do. When I see a black man serving someone else, it disturbs me, makes me want to throw up. Seriously. And I see a lot of us, just to be accepted, we belittle ourselves, we put ourselves down to someone else. That stuff turns my stomach when I see it. Really does. Because no one would humiliate themselves to follow you. They won't do it. But we will humiliate ourselves to follow someone else who may not have our best interests. With that said, let's take care of this ignorance issue, because I'm talking about learning. I want to give you certain points, right, to learn knowledge, Islamic knowledge. I'm going to give you certain points and I want you to write them down. And I might do this for a couple of days, right? I have maybe some other guests. I might even tell them to wait to March. Wait till the first week of March. Since we only have like 3 days left, I may take all these 3 days to emphasize these points. Allahu A'lam, let's see how it goes. If we want to remove ignorance, especially ignorance of the religion, and we want to learn our deen, there are certain things we must have. We must have knowledge. We must have scholarship, which is really teachers. And we must have a methodology. So 3 things. So write these 3 things. You must have knowledge. You must have scholarship, which means teachers. You must have a teacher. And you must have a sound methodology by which you follow. If these 3 things are missing, you're not going to learn. Forget about it. You need all 3. You need the knowledge, you need scholarship, meaning teachers, qualified teachers, and you need a methodology to follow, right? And every successful place around the world who has learned Islam has those 3 things in place, right? And it's well known what those 3 things are. So in terms of knowledge, you're going to need to learn at maximum 12 sciences in general, and at minimum 8 sciences in the religion. You ready? So the max, we say, and you're good, you can learn more, but the max, which you, like say, if we got these, we're straight, 12 basic science, the sciences, and minimum 8 basic sciences. And everywhere you go in the Muslim world, these sciences are studied as knowledge. You have primary sciences, secondary sciences. In terms of primary sciences, you're going to have 4 primary sciences. Foundational sciences. Number 1, Al-Quran Al-Kareem, the Quran. Number 2, Al-Hadith Al-Sharif, the noble hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Number 3, Al-Aqidah. And number 4, Al-Fiqh. So 4 primary things, right? So in knowledge, we got to have knowledge of Al-Quran, knowledge of Al-Hadith, knowledge of Al-Aqidah, and knowledge of al-fiqh, rules. As for the secondary sciences, so that's primary sciences, right? Or foundational sciences, you can say, right? Then the secondary sciences, or they're the tools that we need to learn those essential foundational sciences. There's certain tools you need to unlock that, right? And they are ulum al-Quran, the sciences of the Quran, ulum al-Quran. The second one is ulum al-Hadith, the sciences of Hadith. The third, usul al-Fiqh, the foundational methodologies of al-Fiqh, of jurisprudence. Al-Mantiq, logic. As-Sarf, learning about word conjugation. Al-Balaga, these are sciences of Arabic language. Eloquence. And Nahu, grammar, right? And the eighth, Al-Adab, which you can say is at-Tasawwuf, manners and behaviors. That's like at-Tasawwuf. So you got ulum al-Quran, ulum al-Hadith, usul al-Fiqh, al-Mantiq, al-Nahu, al-Sarf, al-Balaga, and al-Adab. That's 8. So that's 12 sciences for knowledge that we need established in our communities. Now, this is for my African American brothers and sisters. I want an honest conversation. That's why we said real talk. So I named those sciences. I gave you the 4 foundational sciences: Al-Quran al-Kareem, Al-Hadith al-Sharif, Al-Aqidah, Al-Fiqh. Then I gave you those 8 secondary sciences or tools that you need, which is ulum al-Quran, ulum al-Hadith, usul al-Fiqh, al-Mantiq, al-Nahu, al-Sarf, al-Balaga, al-Adab. 8. 12 sciences. I want to honestly ask you, how many of you have never heard of all these 12 sciences, all of them? I'm talking to my African American people, and if others want to say me either, how many of you, out of all of you, and there's a lot, how many of you have not heard of all those sciences? You didn't hear of them. I'm not talking about learning them. I'm talking about you just heard about them, that you need to know them. How many? Let's be honest. Just say, I haven't. I want to get a count. Go ahead. Be honest. We having real talk. Real talk. We're not fronting here. Real talk. Y'all know fronting. That's my real talk. Acting like something's not the case and you know it is. Right? Or acting like it's something that you know is not. I'm just waiting. I'm watching. I want us to be honest with each other. Let's stop pulling each other's legs. Repeat them, please, Malik. Shu, did you hear them or not? I'm messing with you. So all 12, right? Al-Quran al-Kareem, Al-Hadith al-Sharif, Al-Aqidah, Al-Fiqh, Ulum al-Quran, Ulum al-Hadith, Usul al-Fiqh, Al-Mantiq, Al-Nahu, Al-Sarf, Al-Balaga, Al-Adab. I heard of 6, not enough. Okay. Now the next question. How many of you been Muslim for at least 10 to 20 years or more? Now we having real talk. We family, so we can kick it. How many of you have been Muslim 10 to 20 years or more? making a point, and I hope you're grabbing it. We're going to continue. Don't worry, because we're going to build something so no one else do this to us again. Everyone in the Islamic world, anywhere you go, in all those countries I know I've mentioned, they learn these things when they're teaching people to study Islam. They learn all of these things. They learn them. Right? So that means for us, someone not giving us the total things we need. I told you, you need knowledge. Without all of these things, you're never going to have sound knowledge. Your knowledge is always going to be shaky. Without all of these sciences and a understanding of them, preferably eventually a mastery, but at least an understanding, you're never going to have a sound understanding of deen. Your religious understanding is always going to be subject to change and the whim of someone because you don't know. The one who does not know these sciences and aware of them, their understanding of Islam is going to be flawed. They're necessary tools to understand revelation. So there are requisite things that we need to understand the deen. To have any proficiency in the religion, we need them. All of these sciences. If I minimize them to 8, at least, you're going to need Al-Quran Al-Kareem, Al-Hadith Al-Sharif, Al-Aqidah, Al-Fiqh, right? You're going to need Usul Al-Fiqh. You're going to need Ulum Al-Quran, Ulum Al-Hadith, and Al-Adab, Al-Tasawwuf. And that's because you don't know Arabic language, so that we can work on. But you're going to have to add some familiarity with that stuff, even by way of translation. So even if you didn't know Arabic, by way of translation, you got to be familiar with at least those 8 sciences. Just to have an idea about our religion, right? And listen, it doesn't have to be for every common person. Somebody among us must know this stuff to teach to others. It's fard kifaya. Somebody got to know it. Everyone cannot be ignorant of this. But we've been given, in our communities, we've been left, all you got to do, you know Quran and Sunnah and you straight. What about the other 10 sciences that are needed? We just Quran and Sunnah. That's it. That's all you got. You don't need nothing else. That's been the slogan we got. What about the other sciences that are essential to understanding the Quran and the Sunnah? They're keys to understanding and unlocking the Quran and the Sunnah. So that's the first point. That's point number 1. If we want knowledge, we must have these sciences of knowledge and we must learn about them. And let me answer these questions, and I'll take some of your questions as we go along because I'm not going to forget because I'm prepared tonight. I'm using my mind, but I have some things I want to convey, so it's easy. Can an imam be an imam without having knowledge of these 12 sciences? Not in the real Islamic world. In our communities, yeah, you don't have to know anything. You could be an imam. But in the real, if we're talking about real Islamic society, it is not perceived that an imam is leading the community and is not qualified. And to be qualified, the imam should have at least a basic understanding of all these things. He don't have to be advanced. He don't have to be a scholar. He don't have to be a master, but he has to have at least an introductory understanding of these things. Or really, he's not qualified to be an imam. He should go learn. But in our communities, unfortunately, no one even told us that, so no one even knows that I should know it. So the imam is whoever steps up, the most knowledgeable on the playground. He becomes the imam. And that's a sad state of affairs, and that's part of the reasons why our communities don't grow. Because the one who doesn't have a thing can't give it. If I don't know, how I'm going to tell you? So I can give it to you. You'll never know it if you're counting on me, because I don't know it. Right? So that's not a problem. But there should come a time in our communities, even if we're not like that, that our imams in our community are all knowledgeable, and like I said, even at the basic level of all these things. Right? That should be our bar. That all of our imams, all of our teachers are like that. Every one of them. That's how we should be. Right? And you get someone to tell you you don't need all that, but you got all that. You don't need all that, but you have it in your communities. You have it in your schools. But you'll tell us, oh, you don't need that. In other words, just listen to me so I can enslave you. And that's what has happened. We didn't learn, so the others always told us we don't have knowledge, and therefore they can control us. The gig is up. We're going to change this, inshallah. It may take time, but we're going to do it. And if we don't live to see it, we're going to plant the seed so that no longer that's happening in our communities. And all of us should make a firm commitment to this work. So that's point one, right? That's point one. The proper methodology is first knowing what we got to learn. So that's point one. Y'all got 1.1. Point two, that we're going to prioritize those secondary sciences before we start teaching and studying the other sciences. Right? So all those 8 sciences that I mentioned, we're going to make sure that the student is grounded in them before he engages in the primary sciences with details. So there's no way he's going to read the Quran and interpret the Quran and he doesn't know Arabic. There's no way he doesn't know grammar, he doesn't know sarf, he doesn't know balagha. How he's going to understand the Quran properly? He doesn't even know the language of the Quran. So when he starts giving interpretation, he may make mistakes just because he doesn't know the language. Because he's relying on a translator who may be making mistakes himself and he can't identify it because he doesn't know the language. We got to fix that. Even if, listen, this is not criticizing, this is showing us the way out. That's all it is. We understand we're knee deep in the mess. We got it. We're up to our necks in the stuff. But I'm talking about how we're going to get out. Right? So don't stay there. No, you got to learn Arabic, Habibi. You have to. Even if we don't know it, we got to put it in the process, in our curriculums. We have to learn. Or we have to teach our children and the different sciences of the language, because the Quran is in Arabic, it's not in English. The Hadith is in Arabic, right? The major books of our religion are in Arabic, like it or not, they're in Arabic. Even if they're translated, we need to have recourse to Arabic to make sure the translations are right. We experience that every morning in the Fajr reflections, right? We do. So we need that. Even if we don't have it, no problem. We got to learn it. And we got to teach someone. We got to prepare someone. We got to put our money for our children to go learn. And then they got to bring it back home and teach the others. That's how it works. So those primary sciences, those secondary sciences, they need to be learned and studied so that we could go into those financial sciences with knowledge. Right? That's important. That's second point. So those tools we need to learn the foundational sciences, we got to get them. Right? And that's those 8 sciences I mentioned. And then the 4 sciences, right? They're the foundational. We need those tools to unlock the foundational sciences. Is my point here clear with point number 2? Y'all understand what I mean by point number 2? Is point number 2 clear for everyone? Because I don't want you to lose the points because I'm explaining the points. So don't forget the points. Point number 1 is knowledge and learning at least these 12 sciences. At minimum, 8 of them, right? The second point 2 is putting the the secondary sciences, which are like tools, to unlock those foundational sciences, right? So we can't skip. You can't just go to the Quran and Sunnah and you didn't learn these tools, how to unlock, and that you need to understand the Quran and the Sunnah. So you reading Quran and Sunnah without the tools, you're going to make a mess, which has happened in our communities. A mess that we're going to fix. So point number 3. Point number 3. Point number 3 is we need to know the methodology of learning, right? How do we learn? What is the way we learn? And in traditional Islam, in Sunni Islam, the way you learn is by learning with qualified teachers, sheikhs, scholars, with an unbroken chain back to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or an unbroken chain to the imams of the sciences of hadith and fiqh and all those sciences we talked about. So those 12 sciences that we talked about, there are scholars, there are great imams who were leaders in those sciences. So whenever we learn, we got to learn through teachers with an unbroken chain back to the Prophet ﷺ. And in each science, we got to have an unbroken chain back to the imams of that science. So if we're learning usul al-fiqh, we're going to have an unbroken chain that we learn from our teachers back to the great imams of usul al-fiqh. If we're learning mantiq, if we're learning al-mantiq, we're learning logic, we're going to have an unbroken chain through our teachers back to those scholars. Ulum al-hadith, ulum al-Quran, an-nahw, sarf, balagha, all of those sciences, aqidah, tasawwuf, al-fiqh, all of that, an unbroken chain through teachers, directly learning from teacher to teacher to teacher. Without it, it's not going to be a sound way of learning. So the idea of I don't need a teacher and I don't need a chain of narration is a disaster waiting to happen. As Ibn Sirin mentioned, and Imam Malik and Anas ibn Malik and others, they mention Inna hadha al-ilm deen fanzuru amman ta'khuduna deenakum. Verily, this knowledge you're learning is the religion. So look well from whom you take your religion. Knowledge is by learning through qualified teachers who have an unbroken chain in every science to the leaders or back to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Without that, your knowledge is going to be shaky. That's point number 3. Question. If qualified teachers are not available, how do you learn? One of the great scholars, his name is Ibn Rislan. He wrote a famous poem called Safwat al-Zubid. It is like a 1,000-line poem. He said, whoever does not know, let him ask. Whoever cannot find a teacher, let him travel. That means we don't know. We're going to find someone who knows, and we're going to go send someone among us who has the aptitude to go learn, and we're going to pay his way. We're going to sponsor him, and we're going to bring him back home, and he's going to train the rest of us. Like the Prophet ﷺ used to do. People come to the Prophet, they learn about Islam, they go back to their tribe, they teach their tribe, and then they build a nation. They would send, or they would go meet the Prophet. They would send someone from their tribe. He would stay with the Prophet for a period of time. He would learn. He would learn from the companions. Then he'd go back to his tribe and he'd teach his tribe. That's how we do it. And I'm going to get to something that hasn't happened with us. So that's how you fix that, right? That's Sunnah. We're on Quran and Sunnah. That's the Sunnah. The Prophet he sent them back, go back and teach your people. He didn't say stay here in Medina and be my servant. Go back and teach your people. And people would have loved to stay in Medina and serve the Prophet ﷺ. What a noble state. Not the Prophet. You go back, teach your people. Go inform your people. So that's number 3. Anyone who doesn't learn like that, don't listen to him. Guys telling you, I only got no teachers, I got this. I don't have no chain of narration. We don't need that. I follow directly. This is a danger. Don't listen. See you. Assalamu alaikum. You're not the teacher. We're out of here. Right? Period. We out. See you. Assalamu alaikum. We're trying to learn our religion, not your ego. Assalamu alaikum. We're gone. Assalamu alaikum. The way in the inner cities. Assalamu alaikum. So in every science we talk about that. So if you only got a chain of narration in hadith, we're not going to learn fiqh from you. And if you got it in fiqh, we're not going to learn aqidah from you. You needed to learn from a teacher, and whatever you're going to teach us, period, with an unbroken chain, but we're not taking it from you. That's it. I don't care who you are. And then, so the conditions, and whoever has that, that's where we're going to go get it from. If you don't have it, the one who doesn't have a thing cannot give it. We're not learning from you. We love you, but we out. See you. That's number 3. Number 4, point number 4. Point number 4, choosing famous, reliable books for teaching. Selecting famous, reliable books for teaching. In other words, no more of this, you just giving us your cliff notes. We don't want your cliff notes. We want famous, reliable books in every one of those sciences. That's what we want to learn. So if we're going to study Aqidah, we want to learn the famous, relied upon books in Aqidah. Don't give me your cliff notes, because you're not giving your cliff notes to your people. What famous, relied upon books are in the science that are well known? No matter where we go in the world, everybody study these books. I don't want your cliff notes. I don't even want your summaries no more. Don't just give me your summary. I don't want your summary. What are the reliable, well-known books in the science? Teach me them. I don't want your summary. You know, summary, right? That means someone took what they want. They selected what to give you. They didn't give you the whole. They summarized it and gave you what they want you to have. No. Show me the real books. Because your summary was taken from another book. Show me the book. You summarized. That means you got it from somewhere. Where you get it from? Oh, you can know, but I can't. Nah. Then that makes me think you're hiding something from me. If you only going to give me the summary, but you have the original book, then I got to rely on you. And maybe you're not trustworthy. Where you get it from? What you hiding? And why are you hiding it? So keep the word. Number 4, choosing famous, well-known, relied upon books for teaching. So don't come, here's some papers for you, Ak. Here you go, sister. Sit down, study this. That's all you need. No. Where are the famous, relied upon books in all of these sciences? We should know them. We should know them. Where are they? And that's what I want to learn. And make them available so that we have access to them. Don't just give us what you want us to have. Make them available. And help us get to understand them, just like you understand them, if you really understand them. Yeah, you need Arabic first if you're going to get the classical books. Here's the catch, though. A lot of those books are being translated. So therefore, if we don't know Arabic, we want to have access to the original Arabic books. We want to have translations to help those who don't know Arabic. And we want some of us to know enough Arabic or to learn Arabic so that they can be a secondary check to make sure we ain't getting shortchanged. So you notice when we're in the post-Fajr reflections, the reader is reading English books and I'm following them in Arabic. So if there's a mistake, I'm catching it to the best of my ability. But we need some of us who are masters in Arabic language, right? Who can catch way more than I could dream of catching. We need that in our communities. So right now, we got to suffice with what we got to work with. That's fine. That's for right now. But we're going to learn what we have to do so it don't be like that tomorrow. And remember, I tell you all the time, our objective is to have our children, our students be better than us, right? So for instance, right now, my students that study with me, they've excelled me, right? Alhamdulillah. So guess what they are now? So I can do certain things, right? And if I fall short, they're going to pick it up because they're like my sons in religion. I raised them. So they're going to pick it up. And if they can't pick it up, their teachers or my teachers are going to pick it up. And between all of us, you can't pull the wool over our eyes. Forget about it. We're qualified. We got people who qualified. We have everything we're talking about, we're doing. It's not just a fantasy island, we're actually doing it. So when the guy comes with his stuff, we like, ho, brakes. Nah. Don't work that way. Because people is running game on us. We've learned the hard way, so we're doing it. So relied upon books. So what are the rely upon books? For Al-Aqidah. What are the famous relied upon books in Aqidah? What are the famous relied upon books in fiqh? So if I'm Hanafi, I follow the Hanafi school because we told you must follow a school. What are the reliable books in the Hanafi school that are famous? That no matter where I go in the world, if I'm a Hanafi, everybody is studying these books. What are the famous books in Shafi'i fiqh? What are the famous books in Maliki fiqh? What are the famous books in Hanafi fiqh? If I'm Aqidah, I'm Ash'ari and Maturidi. What are the famous relied upon books in the Ash'ari school? What are the famous relied upon books in the Maturidi school? You want me to be a Sufi, follow Tasawwuf? What are the famous relied upon books in the science of Tasawwuf? If I want to study Arabic grammar, what are the reliable, famous relied upon books in Arabic language? If I want to study Sirah, what are the reliable, famous books in Sirah? If I want to study Usul al-Fiqh in any school, because the usul of each school are different, what are the reliable books in Usul al-Fiqh in the Hanafi school, in the Shafi'i school, in the Maliki school, in the Hanbali school? We need to know because we need to choose famous relied upon books, not cliff notes, not cheat sheets, not your summaries that you want to give us. They never let us know the original books where you took it from, so we can't even check what you're doing. No more of that. Them games is done. No more. Relied upon books. 1, 2. Let's go to number 5. I'm almost finished. I'm only going to give you 8 points. Yeah, I'm going to give you 8 points, so I'm at 5 now, right? The 5th thing, I'm going to come back to your question on how do you choose a school to study. The 5th thing is we need this bad. Training spiritually the student in detachment from dunya, piety, and scrupulousness. So as people that's learning, we need tarbiyah. We need training. Fix our nufus, our lower selves. Number 1, stop being so attached to the world as zuhud. Learn to obey Allah and refrain from the sins, at-taqwa. And be careful and scrupulous in your dealings and in what you take from even the permissible al-wara. Because all of the people of knowledge, they are detached from dunya. They follow the instructions of the religion. They are pious. They perform their obligations. They refrain from the sins, and they're scrupulous. They leave off doubtful things so they don't, even lawful things so they don't fall into haram. So we need to train the student like that. All of us need to work on our nafs. We need to train ourselves. Our egos are out of control. Too much love of dunya, too much sinning, and not enough being religiously cautious. Too loose. We need to fix that. And we need to instill that in our people. You should be zahid. You should be muttaqi. You should be wari'. You know, we should have these types of things. So that's inside work. We got to work on that heart. Got to clean up the behavior. Right? That's number 5. Number 6, you must follow a madhab in fiqh and a madhab in aqidah. Absolutely. You must follow one of the 4 schools properly. Not all of them. I follow all schools and I pick the best. You're not qualified to pick the best. Follow one school. And so you're going to be Hanafi or Shafi or Maliki or Hanbali. And you're going to follow one of the schools of Aqidah, Ash'ari or Maturidi. And this is safety with unbroken, all that's with an unbroken chain. So walking around talking about I'm on Quran and Sunnah doesn't work for us. Doesn't work for nobody on the planet. You need to follow a madhab. If you're not a mujtahid scholar, you need to follow a madhab. No more this do-it-yourself Islam. Number 7, you need stages by which we study each science, levels and stages. All of these different sciences that I mentioned in 12 sciences, they should be studied in stages. So you should have a basic text, then a commentary, then marginal notes, right? So I'll put this. Whenever you study a science, you're going to study it at least three times in a field. So you're going to have al-matan, then al-sharh, and then al-hashiyah. That's going to be the 3 stages. And every time you study, and that's till you get to a good grasp and mastery of that field of study. So you'll study a basic text, which may be a summarized basic text, but it's going to be famous, relied upon, right? Not just anything, not Cliff Notes. It's going to be a famous text in any field. And then when you study that text with your teacher, after you finish, he's going to take you to another level, which is going to be an explanation of that text. And then when you get a little more advanced, he's going to take you another level, which is going to be marginal notes, extra notes that explain that explanation. So they're going to be 3 stages. So every book you're going to take it at least 3 different ways, right? And that's why our teachers told us, whoever has not studied a book 3 times has never studied the book. So these are the 3 stages of studying a book: a basic text, then the explanation of that text, then detailed marginal notes on that text. And this is, don't worry, we're going to be going over this a lot. Just take what you can, step by step. I'm not expecting you to grab everything. Don't worry about that. Whatever you got, you take it, and then we're going to go to the next step. What next step and next step? You follow? Don't worry about the details. All I'm doing is giving you a map. We're going to go over all these things in more detail and you'll get it, right? You'll get it. You'll get it. We need it. We have to get it. We don't have a choice. We're dying. We're going to become extinct if we don't do these things. As a community, we're going to be extinct. All right. So that is number 7. And number 8, this is very important. Number 8, the 8th point. Is the freedom of the student to choose his teachers. That the student should be left free to choose his sheikhs, his teachers or her teachers. And they shouldn't be forced to listen to someone they're not benefiting from, or they don't understand. They're not getting the knowledge they need from them, so just stick to them because I'm the sheikh. Look, the student needs to be free to choose the teachers that they can learn and benefit from, not be stuck and forced to learn from someone who's not helping them, and they don't understand, and they're not getting the point, and they're not reaching the objective. You don't stay with someone and you're not learning, and you're not developing, and they're not helping you grow. You should have the freedom to go find someone who's going to make you grow. The object is not to bring you to the teacher. The teacher is to take you to the messenger of Allah, and the messenger of Allah to take you to Allah, not to the teacher. So just because I'm following you, I stay with you, and I'm not even growing. I've been like this for 20 years. I still don't know. After 20 years in your company, look, I need to find me another teacher. You're not working. No, it's not you don't have nothing because you don't have Arabic. Let me fix you with that, Sister Nadira. Right? That's not why you don't have to know Arabic to learn your religion. You're not getting all you need to get because you do have stuff. You're a Muslim, so you got a lot. That's the biggest gift you got. You're a Muslim. What happens is no one is sitting down with you, caring about you enough to make sure you have access to learning your religion properly. That's all it is. That's the problem. No one is taking time to say, you know what? Listen, my sister. Listen, my brother. I'm going to help you go from step A to step B. I'm going to sacrifice my time. I'm going to sacrifice my energy, right? And I'm going to make sure you learn to your capacity. You might not be great Sheikh al-Islam, but as much as you can absorb, I'm going to help you get it. And then whatever you don't have, I'm going to put you in a circle of people who will help you grow. And it's not a condition that you got to be rich for me to do that. I don't care if you don't have any money. I don't care if you're poor. I'm going to make sure you learn your religion to the best of my ability. That's what's missing. And I don't want anything from you. That's what's missing. So it ain't got nothing to do with Arabic. May be part of why you didn't learn, but that's not it. You don't have to know Arabic to learn all these things. You don't have to be fluent in Arabic. That's not the condition. It's a tool and it helps. And if someone got that, it's fine. They will suffice for the rest of us. Let's keep it real. We live in America. You need to learn English well to move around. And maybe Spanish eventually. We keep it going at this rate. Yeah, Arabic is not your biggest concern where you live at. Learning your religion, though, is, and you need some aspects. But if you got others who know Arabic and they're trustworthy and they got this curriculum, you'll be all right. You'll learn. No problem. But the 8th point is very important because we have people sticking with teachers who ain't teaching them. And then they make organizations to say, you can't go nowhere else. You got to stay with me. But I'm not growing. In fact, I'm being oppressed and subjugated to you. I need to get away from you. And that 8th point, that student got to remember, where's the benefit? I need to learn my religion so I can worship Allah properly. Right? So those 8 points. Right? Don't worry, it's going to be all translated. Now, just hang in there. Can I tell you a story? Nadira, let me help you. Nadira, let me help you, right? There was a time I didn't know no Arabic. Zero. No Arabic at all. Right? None. Zero. I still don't know Arabic, so don't worry about it. Right? Right? But I give you 2 words. In life, Imam al-Haddad said them. Y'all know them well. These are Arabic words you should live by. Jahid to shahid. Struggle and you will witness. Just keep working. That's it. Keep working. You'll get it. And you'll get to what you need. But don't make it all complicated. When I say don't make it complicated, do the best you can. That's all you're responsible for. And keep striving to be better. That's it. So to never feel like this is overwhelming. No, it's not overwhelming. I'm going to do the best I can. And then when I get what I get, it's going to open up. You know, our teachers used to say to us, the beginning of seeking knowledge is difficult. The end of it is pleasure and enjoyment. Right? The beginning of your talab, when you're starting to learn, it's hard. Sab, it's very difficult. But you keep going, you keep going, you keep going, you keep going, and what happened? Eventually it's easy. I didn't know all this stuff. It's not even a lot, but I didn't know it. I kept striving and learning and learning and learning and learning, and one day I got it. So we all like that. And guess what? Even that thing which is difficult for me now, I'm going to keep striving, and it's going to become easy one day. Right? And when we make an environment that's like that, it's easier for everybody because now the sisters are learning, the brothers are learning, the children are learning, grandfolks is learning. We have sessions of knowledge. We have our own teachers. We've built a community. We're good. Right? And Allah will provide for you a way out. Trust me. You just got to trust in Him. And you got to work. Right? The human beings get nothing but what they strive for. We got to strive. Right? And here, we got to have a level playing field. That's one of the major problems. It's not a level playing field for us. They're not giving us the stuff. They're giving us what is needed to be over top of us all the time. That's what's happening. There's too much of that. We need a change. Bad. We're losing our children. We're losing our people because we're not taking care of our people, and no one else is either. And this is bad for Islam, not just for black folk. For Islam, this is not good. So I'm going to stop here with those 8 points. I'll repeat them real quick. Right? So point number 1, knowing the Islamic sciences that we need to learn. And I mentioned 12 of them, for example, and we could say 8 that we could start with, get them, right? Taking the secondary sciences, learning them so that we have the keys to unlock the primary sciences. That's point number 2. Point 3 is taking knowledge from teachers in every science who have an unbroken chain in those sciences, back to the Prophet or back to the major books or scholars. Point number 4, choosing famous, reliable books for teaching. We need the same material you got. We don't want a defective product. We want that same top quality books you got. That's what we want. Point number 5, excuse me, that was point number 4. Point number 5, we need training in our detachment from dunya, spiritual training, detachment from dunya, having taqwa, having scrupulousness. We need that. Number 6, we got to follow a madhab in aqidah and al-fiqh, in belief and in practice. We must follow a madhab. Very essential so that we can have organized structure of Islamic rules. Number 7 is that we learn these knowledges, these sciences in stages. First, we have a basic text, then we have an explanation, then we have detailed marginal notes. And the last one, the 8th one, that the student be free to choose their teachers who they understand and they can benefit from. So if you got a teacher who don't even know your culture or language, you're not going to benefit much from them because they don't understand you and you don't understand them. So you should choose teachers that understand you and you can understand them and they can get the message to you, right? In a language you understand. So don't be stuck with someone who doesn't care about you. Don't be stuck with that. That's your fault. That's the rules. Now, so they'll say, as I keep telling you, where I got all this stuff from, this is the methodology around the world. So I'm going to share you something. This book, Al-Madrasatu Al-Azhariya, Usuluha wa Qasa'isuha wa Adabuha. This book, and I took all these notes from this book. This is the Azhar school or institution, right? Not institution, it's methodology, it's school. And madrasa, it means like a school. It is the methodology, really, right? Al-Madrasatul Azhariya. This is Azhar's method. This is the way they do things in Al-Azhar, which is over 1,100 years old. It is one of the oldest schools in the world. And it is considered, and it was always considered, Ka'batul Ilm, the Kaaba of knowledge in the Islamic world. What does this talk about? Usuliha, its foundations, wa qasa'isuha, its special merits, wa adabuha, and its etiquettes and manners and behaviors. So what I told you is a methodology that has been proven and tested for 1,100 years. Right? 1,100 years they've been using this formula I just described. And everyone around the world goes back to Azhar to learn. They send their teachers, they send their sheikhs, no matter where they're from in the world, to Al-Azhar to learn when Azhar was Azhar. It was the center of Islamic learning in the world. That's their methodology. That's their methodology. And it's been working for 1,100 years or more. So if it worked for them, it's good for us. If it worked for them and all around the world, it works for us, right? It works for them, works for us. Why can't we have it? You got it. It worked for you. You build a society off of that. You help run governments, build judges, build everything. Well, we need to do the same thing. So let's follow a model that works. That model works. It's been working for over 1,000 years. Why can't we do it? Oh, you black? You can't do it. Is that what you're trying to say? Are you black guys? You can't do that. No. We can do it too. Just show us. Just tell us. And we'll work hard and we'll get it too. It works for you. You've built. Maybe we might do an excellent job with it. Give it to us. And that's just that. What I gave you is a methodology. And what we're going to do is expand that methodology in our learning over the next year. We're going to expand it. I'm going to give it all to you. The whole map. I'm going to lay it out. So no one else can tell you. Now, if you decide after learning all these things that you want to go follow Joe Donut Head, that's your problem. And that's in our language. If you go through all this, I'm telling you, and you decide, I want to go study with Joe Donut Head, that's your problem. I want to give all my services to anyone, that's your problem. I don't know what to tell you. I tell you what Imam Naim said. You don't love yourself, and you deserve what you get. And guess what? I'm going to tell you, when you learn this system well, trust me, people ain't going to run game on you no more. They can't. You know too much. It's over. It's up. Gig up. Can't run no game on you. You know too much. You got too much information. Now they got to come clean. They can't come half cocked. It's not going to work. Absolutely not. We know better. The more you know, that's power. You're no longer ignorant. You know. They can't just do anything. Guy can't tell you I just follow Quran and Sunnah. You learn too much. No, you don't follow. Come on, bro. Knock it off. No, it's not going to happen like that. And believe me, I test this system all the time. Right? I test it all the time. Joe Donut Head, come tell me I'm a sheikh. You a sheikh, Joe Donut Head? Okay. Come on, sheikh. Here's the ulum. Here's the books. Just tell me about them. And when he starts stuttering, you're not who you say you are. You are a common person. You just might have a little bit more knowledge than me, and we're going to learn together. You're not going to be my leader, Joe Donut Head. No longer. It's done. You can't do it no more. It's finished. It's over. Wrap. As we say, that's a wrap. You can't do it. That cup is not finished. I need more coffee. All right, I'll stop for any questions. Go ahead. This is part 1. I got more to come. It's part 1. Yeah, I coined that, Naeem. You can't steal that. Sheikh Joe Donut Head is my term. Don't start using my stuff. No, I'm joking. No, the cup is not empty. It has traces. Didn't you learn about the traces? The traces is where the barakah is at. What's in the mug? Coffee. The drink of champions. Now I'm gonna go. No, any questions? This is important. So I'm joking and having fun with you because this is us. But at the same time, make sure you got. Would you consider mental health therapy under tasawwuf? Because we need that as well to deal with the trauma we went through. That's something else. That's a worldly science. It's not a religious science. And as Sheikh used to tell me, tasawwuf might not solve someone who needs a doctor. Not everything is a jinn. Not everything is you spiritually ill. Some people got mental. They got physical ailments that cause their stuff. They need to see a doctor. Some don't. Some might need some spiritual, but some people, we can't play with people. They might be really need a doctor. They need help. They need a specialist. And we shouldn't play doctor on people's medical problems, even if they're mental problems. They need a specialist. They need someone who knows what they're doing. And that's a worldly science. That's not necessarily a religious science. So you got to shake, just come over, I'll do ruqya on you and it's over. And you sick. You know ruqya going to help you. You sick. You need a doctor who knows about the human brain and who knows whatever's going on. But just making dhikr may not be the solution to you. It could be, it may not be. I'm not a doctor. No stories. We need stories here, Imam Fahim. When we were learning fiqh, we were doing Sulam al-Tawfiq, Ladders of Success, that is Shafi'i school. We learned the Shafi'i school. And we're going to come back. I mean, I'm one person. I would hope that one day you see that Cash App going around. Where's the other thing? You see that? Could you put the support, what's they call it? You know, the ways to donate in the box, in the chat box. Why am I saying that? Because I'm one person. I cannot do everything by myself. Even if I wanted to, I can't. I can't teach all those sciences by myself. It's not humanly possible. Without my whole life being free to that. That means we need to support and donate for teachers. I want to pay teachers. People are not going to do what I'm doing for free. They're just not going to do it. Seriously. I need to pay a minimum teacher $1,000 a month to do half, a third of what I do every day. I got to pay somebody $1,000 a month to do that. To help. This is just real. People got to eat. People got to take care of their families. I can't just tell them, oh, I do it, you do it. Yeah, that's why you're doing it. Good luck. Tell me. I need your help. To do all this stuff, I need help. We got to stop being stingy for ourselves. You come every day, every single day. I only missed a day, and it's been a year almost. I only missed a few days because I had coronavirus. That's it. That's it, right? And even when I was with corona and sick, you still trying to give it to you, right? Everyone's not going to do that, and I don't blame them. So we need to facilitate. We need to do that. No one's going to give us no money. Some will help. May Allah please, those people who are not African American and they support what we're doing, you understand that we're trying to lift some people who are being neglected. It doesn't exclude no one, because most of my students that have really excelled, unfortunately, they're not African American. Most of the people who've excelled and went a long way, and they're not African American. Their parents send them here. They came from elsewhere. Now they moved on. And one day they will be, but guess what? They will be the teachers who come back and help, because they got their start with us. And they don't forget that. And you're a big sheikh now. But know what? We were at a point when we didn't know nothing, and you helped us. And they come back to help. But we can't ask them, don't worry, don't get married, don't have a life, just struggle. No, we got to do our part. So the donation is essential. And me, myself, I'm shy with the asking for money, myself. But I realize if you keep being quiet, we'll just sit down and do nothing. And we'll hear all the talks, but we ain't going to do no work. This is bad, but this is real. You know, we need more teachers. And we got teachers. We got to pay them. We got to pay them. That's real. We have to pay. So it's free, but it's not free. I remember once someone told me, free is not free. Let me put that up there. Free is not free. Now put in parentheses, somebody is always paying. You know who's, right? I put this. Free is not free. Somebody is always paying. So I'll give you an example. Free is not free. Somebody is always paying. You know who's paying right now? My family. Every night that I come do this, my family's paying. They don't have their husband. They don't have their father. He's with you. Early in the morning, they're missing all day when he's doing this, trying to do this. They don't have a husband or a father. They're paying. It's not free. Somebody's paying. And somebody is actually putting up money so that I'm able to do what I'm doing. Somebody's always paying. It's not free. Trust me. It's not free. I told one of my students, he's studying in Azhar, right, in the master's degree. He said, it's free. I said, it's not free. Somebody's paying. Somebody's paying for that building. Somebody's paying the electric. Somebody's paying the gas. Somebody's paying those teachers. Somebody's paying. It's just not you. Somebody's paying. Oh, I forgot. That paying is me. Right? Like, somebody is paying. Free is not free. So he said the classes are free. No, someone's paying. It's just not you. It's not free. Somebody's paying. So why don't you help so it don't be so hard on the next person? If everybody pays $1, nobody got to pay $10, right? So we all got to help. And now we can have those 12 sciences. I can teach some. I can pay someone else to teach another. I can pay another teacher to do this. I can have a teacher translating books. I can pay for that. Because guess what the others are doing? Let me give you a wake-up call. I get angry because I wish we would do it. But you know what other people are doing? Those rich people, they're buying all the scholars and buying all the teachers and putting them in their organization and using it to build their organization, and we still ain't getting nothing. But they're paying. They're paying big bucks. So all the teachers, they go out, they come, and they say, I'll give you an example. We just had Ustad Abdullah. Whether you like him or not, that ain't the point I'm making. He studied, he went overseas, he learned Arabic, he struggled, he went over, studied, graduated from the prestigious Urban University, and somebody came with a nice check, and he's in California. Now you may disagree or whatever, that ain't the point. Somebody paid him, and that's where he's at, getting a paycheck. And then we sit back and say, why you didn't come help the black community? Why you didn't pay him? Why didn't you take your resources and keep your teachers? And I'm not speaking just him, but that happens all across the board, right? We got to get serious. I can't do that, and no one else can do it by themselves. I don't care who you are. We just don't have even if we had the ability, which I don't, even if we had that kind of knowledge, which I don't, to teach all those things, which I don't, even if I had it, I couldn't do it. I don't even have the time. How am I going to do it? Just to teach one book takes about 3 hours per class. To do one class, if you do it, prepare notes, which I don't, right? Prepare it right, that's about 3 hours of your time for one class. So you figure we do the morning class, that's one. Then we do the we do the first 6 o'clock, 6:30, whatever, that's a class. Then we do post-Fajr reflections, that's another class. That's 4 to 6 hours out your day if you prepare properly, right? It's not easy. I just got offered to go teach in an institution. I had to tell the person, nah, I don't got time for that. And it's my friend. And they would pay me. I told him I don't got time. I can't help you. And I know he was hurt. I was hurt to tell him no. But I can't. I gotta help y'all. Because if no one's gonna help you if we don't do it. And I say we, those who are like me. If we don't do it, forget about it. It's not gonna happen. We're gonna stay in the same condition. Sorry, you got a bunch of teachers. Y'all paid. You can, and I love you, but I can't do it. My people is dying. I can't. They asked me to do something that a 10-minute video. I don't have time to make a 10-minute video. I don't. I got to find time to do that. I don't have 10 minutes because the 10-minute video is not 10 minutes. You got to make sure it's right. You got to research. You got to make sure you got your thoughts together. You got to put the right points. You got to summarize stuff. That 10-minute video may take 2 hours. I don't have 2 hours. I don't. Not right now. I'm just giving you the point, right? So, but now if I got someone else to do this class and someone else to do this class, someone to work on, I'm working on a book for you right now. That takes time. We got a whole group of sisters writing and transcribing and doing all kinds of stuff behind the scenes. That stuff takes time. One of these videos we got sister working on takes her 3 hours. 3.5 hours to transcribe. Then it's still got to go back and edit it and fix it and take out and add to it. That stuff is time consuming. So I think you got my point. So whenever you see that thing going across, don't say, man, that's nice, pretty colors. Come on, man. If we're ever going to get this job done, we gotta support it. And it's never enough money if we're serious. Because we got to build Masjid all around the country. We got to build institutions. We got to send teachers to different communities, right? We got to educate our children. We need Quran schools. And then we need someone to lead that charge. And ultimately, we need a university. We need our own school for us that understands our problems. That when a person comes with issues, because we understand, we're not going to push them away. Please go somewhere else. I can't handle that. No, we got to do it. We got to do that work. And I'm just sharing because I think we don't understand how hard this stuff is. We just used to sitting back on the bench and cheering. Somebody got to get on the field. Some people got to go fight the battle. And we're outgunned. Seriously. We're outfinanced. We're outgunned. And how sick I hear people, we're raising and we're building a $1.5 million masjid or $3 million masjid. And you dudes, I know all you need is 10 grand, but we're not giving it to you. You can't even raise $10,000. You struggle to do that while someone else is raising millions and won't give you 10 grand. 10 grand. Some of them got 10 grand sitting in their office, cash. Could just say, here, take away that problem around the country. I'm not just one masjid around the country. They won't do it. Forget about it. You got 10 grand that you just getting ready to go buy some ice cream with it. But you won't give it to them. Seriously, it's a problem. It's a problem. And now, since that won't happen, when are we going to do it? And we can't complain about the others. Okay, they're not going to do it. What you going to do? No problem. And those of them that are going to help, alhamdulillah, they showed you their Islamic brotherhood. They showed you their Islamic sisterhood. They with you. And you should love them. And you should love the other ones too. We're Muslims. But we got to have some equality in this religion. Man, it reminds me of not too much different from American white supremacy. Now we got it in Islam in another form. Same stuff. And believe me, I got teachers, a bunch of them. I just got to pay them. Serious. Because as soon as I get some money, I'm taking a break, right? I'm letting you know now. I'm going to work, but I'm going to get me some rest. I'm going to get me some sleep. Here, you take this book. You take this book. Here's a nice pay for you. No excuse. Let's get the job done. Let's get the job done. I got teachers. I got a bunch of. I got colleagues. They love me. But yo, we gotta eat, bro. We gotta eat. Let's keep it real. And I'm not. And I told my teacher, I'm okay myself. I'm good, right? But I can't do me and you. I can't. I could do me, and I could do some of you, but I need help to do you and you and you to get this job done. I have one of my teachers working on translating some books. He'd be working 5, 6 hours, 8 hours a day for free. Seriously. Translating from Arabic to English, making sure it's right. And I saw his computer screen. Here's the Arabic of this. Here's the English of this. New stuff that we're trying to put out to raise money, to educate you, to do all these things. It's 8 hours, 6 hours a day for free. And he got a family. He got stuff to do. He got married, got bills to pay. But I know we got to do the knowledge. Yeah, we got to do the knowledge. It's true. But we got to help. Really. And I don't like to charge for teaching. I don't like it because now you start charging, people who don't got money can't come. I'm not going to do that. I'm never going to do that. To charge you to learn. I'm not going to do that. Absolutely not. Because that is an incentive for some of us not to learn. I don't have no money, so now I'm not going to learn. Even if you don't got money, come learn. And the ones who got money, take care of the ones who don't have any money. You're never going to see me sitting around charging people to learn Islam. I'm not going to do that. Let's teach us how to support our own initiatives. You don't have to charge nobody. We ain't that poor. My teachers never charged me to learn, ever. Never. I never had to pay to learn. All these things I'm telling you was free. I never paid a dime to learn. None of it. I had to pay for my books. I had to pay for my travel. And sometimes I didn't even have to pay for my housing and traveling. I didn't. Everything I learned was free. I just had to get there. That's it. And I got stuff. I never had to pay. Never. So I'm not going to get into that business of selling Islam. No, I'm not doing it. I'll just stay with the poor people. I'm not doing it. I hate it. But I understand. I'm not saying it's haram. I understand people got to survive. They got to build institutions. I understand that. But nah, that's not my style. Sorry. I want to provide Islamic. I want you to learn. And I don't want money to be a barrier for you to learn. Nah. No. Because some of us don't have money. We don't. And Islam is not for the aghniya, just for the rich. وَأَمَّا الْفُقَرَاء, forget them. The poor people, don't worry about it. لَيْسُوا بِشَيْءٍ, they're nothing, don't worry about them. لَا وُجُودَ لَهُمْ, they don't exist. لَا حَوْلَ وَلَا قُوَّةَ إِلَّا بِاللَّهِ. That's called lisan al-hal. No one would ever say that. They just act like that. No one would say, oh, forget the poor, they don't count. Who are they? No one would say that. But lisan al-hal, that state of the tongue, is very loud and clear. They don't count. Let them go sleep with the fishes. That's a joke for somebody. Let them go sleep with the fishes. That's an inside joke. Don't. Some of you may know the line, but that's a joke for someone who's listening. Let the poor go sleep with the fishes. Oh, I can't drink the tea. There's nothing in the cup. All right, barakallah. No questions. We good. We did the best we could do. But I'm telling you, I'm not going to stop. Inshallah, when I die, that's it. If Allah gives me the strength. But give me some help so we can get this done, so we can do this thing. Make it something regularly you do without me beating you over the head to do it. Yourself. Realize the value of what you got and get it done. Right? And then somebody got to come, Imam Fahim, all right, where that bread? Get that bread. Come on. We're not kids. Do you got to do that to pay the cable bill? Do you got to do that to pay the electric bill? Do you got to pay that to pay your rent? To take care of your Starbucks bill? Your snacks bill? Do you got to go through all that? Your knowledge, your religion is more important than all that stuff. Way more important. When all that is gone, your religion and your deen is going to be with you in the hereafter. It's way more important. That's real. We got to get serious, or we're going to be extinct. And if everyone does a little, no one got to do a lot. Simple. And I'm telling you, and you know who I'm really speaking to? The wealthy among us and our brothers and sisters. You can solve this problem overnight. That's what disturbs me. I see it. I've been in those circles, man. I know what kind of money goes around. I know. I mean, Muhammad, I teach. I know what goes on. I've been in the circles. I've seen it. And it depressed me when I watch the condition of the poor and I be with the rich and I see how the rich live and I see how they leave the poor. It breaks my heart. I can't do it. I can't take it. Because as you can gather from me, I'm not a silent person. I'm going to speak my mind. That's just me. Right? So in order not to offend you, I got to get away from you. Right? Because I can't watch you do what you do and I see the plight of poor people. Can't do it. Not me. I'm going to say something. And then I might hurt somebody's feelings. So it's best for me to stay where I come at. You know. Inshallah. So tomorrow we'll continue part 2. And I'm going to lay this thing out. But you should memorize the first question I'm going to ask you tomorrow is tell me the 12 sciences and tell me those 8 points. So that's my question before we start tomorrow. So everybody study. If you can't name those 12 sciences, I don't mean everybody, somebody. I said Farq Kifaya, so somebody got to know it. If I come tomorrow, I'm going to, and I say, give me the 12 sciences. So the 12 sciences should be this, and the 8 points. If y'all don't come through with that, I'm going to press end broadcast, exit studio. So study, right? Right? Study tomorrow. Seriously, because we wanted to get it. And then you got friends. So you go with your friend, someone you know, y'all should make friends among each other. Y'all should get to know each other. Right? Share, call the other one, text them. Y'all Facebooking and inboxing anyway. Inbox some good stuff. Share with each other. These are the points. These are the things. So everyone knows, because it's a protection for all of us. We got the 12 sciences that we should know. And then we want the 8 points that I mentioned, how we're going to get everything we need in terms of our learning, our knowledge, our teachers, and our methodology. Those 3 things: knowledge, we need teachers, we need methodology. Then we laid out the 8 points, and we laid out these sciences we need. That's a whole lesson for today. That's a mouthful. And just review, study, work, you got all day. And if we home and we don't got no job, we really don't got no excuse. Take that time and learn your religion. Stop crying. Right? Go learn your religion. Allah gave you free time. Use it. Right? Use it to learn. Because you're not going to be free for your whole life. You're going to go back to being occupied. So now that you're free, stop crying and use it wisely. All right. Barakallahu bikum. Wa sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajmain. I love y'all all, and I'll see you tomorrow morning at 6:30. No, maybe, no, tomorrow's Friday. Yes, 6:30. 6:15, 6:30. Depend if we can finish Fajr by 6:15 and be done with everything. But at least no later than 6:30. Barakallahu bikum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Take it easy. Have a good night.